from Nebraska's trusted news source. This is Channel 8 News at 5.
Coming up tonight, more than 6 weeks after 4 Idaho students were stabbed to death, an arrest has been made in the case. Plus, as the New Year's Eve approaches, local law enforcement are putting in overtime to help keep you safe on the roads. But first tonight, we break down the substantial losses that Nebraska farmers suffered at the hands of extreme weather. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us. I'm Megan Conway. Rod has the night off. The major storms that hit Nebraska this year racked up millions of dollars in property damage. Channel 8's Rebecca Heckel gives us the exact numbers tonight in our top story. Rebecca?
Yeah, Megan, after multiple storms full of softball-sized hail and tornado-strength winds, the property damage inflicted on farmers was on a much higher level than previous years, with one insurance company seeing $500 million in property loss. The major storms seen throughout the year in Nebraska caused $2 billion in property damage. Farmers Mutual, based in Lincoln, carried 25% of that loss.
We experienced losses this year that were simply multiples of anything we've ever seen before. And one of the things that we talked about is the fact that in the state of Nebraska alone, for our company, we experienced over $500 million worth of insured property loss.
Jay Reiner has thousands of acres north of Hastings and saw most of his crop and equipment devastated by the hailstorm in early June.
I've been hailed out before, but nothing like this, all on, I think 2,000 acres, and I only had 80 acres that didn't get any hail. I replanted 400 acres of corn back to Milo the end of June. I mean, it was pretty much total devastation around here.
These property losses only count towards equipment that was damaged by severe weather. While land and crops aren't covered, grain bins, pivots, and combines are. Unfortunately, though, experts say it'll only get worse.
The frequency of the loss perils that we experience in Nebraska and the severity, the size of the loss perils that we're seeing in the state of Nebraska are going up. There's a very discernible trend line that we're seeing moving upward.
The severity of storms coupled with increased labor costs are causing losses to be significantly higher than in previous years. In 2021, Farmers Mutual only had slightly over $100 million in property loss.
In the Midwestern part of the United States, they are grappling with claims costs that are substantially more than anything that they've seen before. And as a result, they should expect for insurance rates as well as deductibles and things of that nature to most likely be changing as we move forward into 2023 and beyond.
It is unclear exactly how much insurance rates will be rising in the coming months, but unless the weather calms down, experts say higher rates is practically a given to ensure proper coverage.
Rebecca Heckel with our top story tonight. Thank you very much, Rebecca. Now to the latest on the severe winter weather across the country. A historic and deadly winter storm paralyzed Buffalo, New York, and now the region is on flood alert with rain in the forecast. The state standing by with about 800,000 sandbags, anticipating a very messy start to the new year. Forecasters are predicting a rainy New Year's Eve for the ball drop in Times Square. 11 states are under some kind of storm alert, including a new system that's impacting the West. With treacherous driving conditions in Colorado, more than 24 cars were involved in a pileup outside of Denver.
There has been so many accidents and so many stuck vehicles that I-70 has now been shut down for almost 10 hours. There's been a few people that I think were in the tunnel that were a little worried about carbon monoxide, and they had their kind of doors propped up with like a towel in front of it.
California is also prepping for severe weather, from inches of rain to feet of snow. And the severe weather causing holiday travel chaos as well. Southwest Airlines vowing to return to normal service today after a week-long meltdown that left thousands of passengers stranded. It comes after Southwest canceled close to 16,000 flights. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg warning the airline could face tens of thousands of dollars per violation per passenger if it doesn't make good with refunds and expenses. The airline CEO vowing Southwest will go, quote, above and beyond for the customers they left stranded, many never making it home for the holidays.
I'm extremely sorry for that. There's just no way almost to apologize. And we'll be looking at and taking care of things like rental cars, hotel rooms, meals, booking customers on other airlines.
At last check so far, all flights in and out of Omaha are on time. But if you or a loved one was impacted by the meltdown that Southwest was experiencing, head to southwest.com/travel disruption there on your screen. There you can submit for a full refund and reimbursement request for meals, hotels, and alternative transportation. And with the last holiday of 2022 swiftly approaching, many will be celebrating to ring in the new year. Channel 8's Jatine Tinsley has more on what the Lincoln Police Department is doing to keep you safe on the roads. Jatine?
While it is advisable to have a good time on New Year's Eve with family and friends, it's not advisable to drink and drive after your celebration ends. The Drive Sober or Get Pulled Over campaign is in full effect this December. The campaign is funded by the Nebraska Department of Highway Safety and aims to help stave away drunk drivers and keep Lincoln roads safe for everyone. LPD officer Todd Kosian says the campaign provides overtime for local officers, but more importantly, it encourages people to stay off the roads after drinking.
So what we always tell people is part of their holiday plans. If you're going to go out and enjoy some beverages with a group of friends or family, always plan ahead. If you know you're going to be doing that ahead of time, try to work out those plans ahead of time. Arrange for alternate transportation, have somebody come pick you up, stuff of that nature.
The Drive Sober or Get Pulled Over campaign ends January 1st, but LPD wants to remind people that the end of the campaign in no way means that you should ever get behind the wheel drunk. If you do find yourself in a celebration situation after too much alcohol that you didn't plan for, join us back here at 6 for how you can get a free ride and car tow in an emergency this New Year's Eve.
Looking forward to the rest of your story. Thank you very much, Jatine. Another health alert for those making snacks for New Year's Eve parties this weekend. The Lincoln-Lancaster County Health Department is sharing some tips on how to keep your food safe. They say to refrigerate food that can spoil within 2 hours. Make sure the temperature in your fridge does not go above 40 degrees. Also, keep food hot if necessary. Check the internal temp and don't let it go below 140. You can learn more at foodsafety.gov. And a Nebraska company is now doubling its recall amount of alfalfa sprouts that have been linked to salmonella. There have been 16 cases reported so far. Most have been found in the Omaha area and linked to several restaurants and grocery stores. The company, Sun Sprouts, based in Fremont, sold the veggies in Nebraska, Iowa, and Kansas. They have expiration dates from December 10th to January 7th. If you have been sick after eating alfalfa sprouts, contact your local health department immediately. Time now for a check of our weather with Chief Meteorologist Rusty Dawkins. Rusty, some nice temperatures again today.
Yeah, temperatures very mild today, clear skies, a few clouds in some spots. We did see some patchy, dense fog early this morning, but we are going to see a quiet weekend ahead. We're looking at mostly clear to partly cloudy skies out there right now. Look at Beatrice, though, gorgeous sunset going on, just a few clouds here and there, with expected to see maybe a few more clouds as we head through the overnight. But temperature-wise, we're at 43 degrees in Beatrice, 39 degrees in Nebraska City. A little cooler further north you go, 30 in Norfolk, 38 degrees in North Platte, 36, 31 in Ogallala, and some 40s in the Panhandle. Not much of a wind from one side of the state to the other. That's very rare to see just about everybody less than 10 miles an hour. So we head into the weekend. It's looking like this. Pretty nice on Saturday, 47 degrees with partly cloudy skies. We'll call that mild, and still warm on Sunday with partly to mostly cloudy skies for the very first day of 2023, 46 degrees. So we've got a quiet weekend ahead, but that can't last forever. It does look like we have some changes as we head into the early next week. We could see some rain, could see some snow. Some parts of Nebraska has a winter storm watch in place already. So we'll take a look at that in just a few minutes.
Sounds good, Rusty. Thank you very much. Deputies say he approached investigators before his arrest, thinking they were the victim he had been stalking. Can you hear me now?
The holidays are always a great time to get together.
To crime news now, a Hickman man is behind bars after being arrested for stalking for the second time this month. The Lancaster County Sheriff's Office says 45-year-old Jeffrey Dyken was arrested after a month-long investigation. Deputies say he approached investigators before his arrest, thinking they were the victim he had been stalking. During the investigation, authorities found that Dyken had been harassing the victim for over a month. They say he threatened, followed, and harassed them during that time frame. Dyken faces a felony stalking charge. Now to an arrest made in a case that has gripped the nation. 4 Idaho students were brutally murdered back in November. Today, police arresting a Washington State University graduate student in Pennsylvania. They just wrapped up a news conference a short time ago. ABC's DeMarco Morgan has the latest.
28-year-old Brian Koberger taken into custody by Pennsylvania State Police and the FBI Friday morning. The suspect arrested after a criminal investigation into the brutal killings of 4 University of Idaho students led to Koberger's whereabouts in Monroe County, north of Philadelphia.
These murders have shaken our community, and no arrest will ever bring back these young students. However, we do believe justice will be found through the criminal process.
Authorities received a tip that led them more than 2,500 miles across the country.
This was a very complex and extensive case. We had developed a clear picture over time, but be assured the work is not done This has just started.
It was back in November that roommates Kaylee Gonsalves, Madison Mogan, and Xander Coronado and Coronado's boyfriend Ethan Chapin were all discovered inside a house off campus, stabbed to death. Two other roommates, who authorities say were asleep at the time of the killings, were not injured. An entire college town on edge for nearly 2 months, breathing a sigh of relief.
I think it'll be a massive exhale for a lot of people.
In a plea to the public, authorities sought for weeks for any information that could lead them to a suspect or a motive in the case.
This crime has nevertheless left a mark on our university, our community, and our state.
Moscow police still asking for the public's help in coming forward with any information about the gruesome murders. To Marco Morgan, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Back to local, lighter news. Lincoln City Libraries are inviting everyone to participate in their annual Winter Reading Challenge. It starts January 1st and runs through the end of the month. This year's theme is All the Feels. It's encouraging readers of all ages to dive into the emotions felt while reading a great story. Participants will earn badges on a virtual bingo card and get virtual tickets for recorded reading time. Then they'll be entered into prize drawings worth $50 each month. Prizes include gift cards from restaurants, bookstores, and retailers in Lincoln. Everyone who completes a bingo will be entered into the grand prize drawings for a Fire 7 tablet and a Kindle. And Lincoln's new city flag is gaining support on Twitter with a poll-based tournament comparing city flags across the country. The competition began in November with 80 city flags, including from Milford and Ashland. Those 80 city flags have now been whittled down to 2, and Lincoln is in the finals against Columbia, South Carolina. The final vote happens tomorrow. We have a link to the tournament on our website, klkntv.com.
Now, your Storm Alert team forecast with Chief Meteorologist Rusty Dawkins.
Boy, Southeast Community College Cam has a gorgeous sunset going on right now. Look at that glow. 84th and O Street is looking really nice right now. Love it when we got that good glow, golden glow going on with the sunset. We have some of the best sunsets in Nebraska. I swear to it. It's part of the reason I love this state so much. So it's really nice out there, and we're continuing to see pleasant temperatures. 36 is our average high. We're at 43 at Southeast Community College. East Campus at 43. Chilly, 40 degrees in Lincoln. And then a little cooler sure to the north. Columbus at 31, 37 in York, 33 in Central City, and then some lower 40s towards Hebron, Fairbury, and Beatrice. The wind is out of the south. That's helping to keep us on the warmer side at 5 to 10, maybe 15 miles per hour. So a pretty quiet night out there, and we're going to continue to see a quiet night. Look at that, almost no cloud cover from Omaha all the way over to Scotts Bluff. That's where the clouds are starting to increase a little bit, maybe even a few flurries starting to move into Sioux County over there in the northwestern corner of the state. Stormcast is going to just show maybe a few clouds as we head through Saturday morning, and then some clear skies, then maybe a little mixed precipitation off to well off to the west end of the Panhandle. That will fizzle out fairly quickly. A mixture of clouds and sun as we head through the day on Saturday. I think at times more clouds, and then every now and then we'll get the sun back and then the clouds come back, kind of one of those days. And then as we head into Saturday night, partly cloudy skies. As we get to midnight, the all-important ringing in the new year, we will see mostly clear to partly cloudy skies. I think more clouds to the north and west, and maybe a little light mixed precipitation in the Panhandle. Speaking of the Panhandle in western Nebraska, there is a winter storm watch for central and western Nebraska for Sunday night into Tuesday. Very early stages of this storm potential. We'll see if it makes it any further east or south, but right now the best chance for accumulating snow will be from about North Platte, Valentine west into the Panhandle. But again, this is an early heads up. This doesn't get going until Sunday night, and it will last into Monday and Tuesday. But for tonight, pretty quiet, pretty mild. We should be in the, excuse me, the teens for lows. Instead, we'll be in the middle and upper 20s, maybe even 30 in some spots. South wind at 5 to 15, 28 degrees, partly cloudy, very mild tonight. South wind at 5 to 15 miles per hour. That's a really good evening. I mean, we could easily see our high temperatures this time of year, 28 degrees, but we'll instead see middle and upper 40s, 47 in Lincoln, 48 Beatrice, 48 in Nebraska City, 47 Lincoln, partly cloudy, a mixture of clouds and sun. We'll call that warm. A south wind up there a little bit at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Then midnight, 32 degrees. That's not too shabby. Partly cloudy, a mild way to ring in the 2023. 46 degrees, speaking of the first day of the new year, and 44, then things start to fall down a little bit. A rain-snow mix comes our way Monday and Tuesday. It's part of that storm system that's under a winter storm watch out west. That will get here, and it'll be a little bit warmer, so thus we have the chance for rain mixing with snow for a couple of days. And then cooler Wednesday, 32 degrees, then back to at or above average by Thursday and Friday of next week. But if you have outdoor plans or anything going on this weekend, couldn't have asked for a better weather scenario than what we have going on right now.
Yeah, really. After some hazardous travel conditions around the Christmas holiday, it's nice that this holiday will be a lot more calm.
Yep, hopefully everybody enjoys safely.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you very much, Rusty. A negative day on Wall Street to end the work week. The Dow falling 74 points, NASDAQ only slipping by about 12, S&P losing 10 points. Here are your numbers. You're watching Channel 8, Nebraska's trusted news source. Finally tonight, caught on camera, the amazing strength and bravery of first responders and selfless Good Samaritans who saved a man's life when disaster struck. Jeremy Roth has tonight. Let's take a look at this.
Watch police and Good Samaritans summon the strength to lift a car off a trapped man in California. A warning, some may find the video distressing. Police say a suspect abandoned the stolen car in pursuit, causing it to hit the cyclist, trapping him underneath. Officers and several bystanders quickly teamed up, lifting the car off the man who was pulled free.
1, 2, 3, go!
Good job, guys. Good job. Police say the suspect was later apprehended, and the victim is now recovering thanks to the strength and kindness of strangers.
I mean, that there's people that still are out there willing to help out a complete stranger. It's one of the greatest feelings that I've ever felt.
Thanks, guys. Thanks. Authorities in upstate New York reached out to thank a man they say broke into a school to ride out the recent blizzard. The man left a note behind apologizing for the break-in, which surveillance footage later revealed kept nearly a dozen people safe during the storm. Police posted images asking for the public's help in finding the man and later confirmed they made contact and thanked him for his heroics. Finally, big-hearted humanitarians in Texas helped save the lives of more than 1,600 bats that were found motionless, stunned by the cold weather. The bats were collected and some were kept warm in the attic of an Area Humane Society director who spearheaded the saving effort. The cold-snapped critters were nursed back to health, and more than 1,500 were later re-released back into the wild. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
Wow, those were some incredible stories today.
Yeah.
Rusty and I were just sitting here, just watching along with you guys, just in awe. So, wow. Rusty, can you follow that up with some good weather this weekend, I guess?
That I can do. I wonder if Batman knew what happened. He's probably better stuff at that than I am. But temperatures are going to be very mild, 47 degrees on New Year's Eve, 46 New Year's Day. And if you're headed out and about for some celebration New Year's Eve at midnight, it will be 32 mild degrees. That's well above average. And so are all of these temperatures, 47 degrees on New Year's Eve and 46 degrees on New Year's Day. Those temperatures are about 10 to 12 degrees above average. And that's going to continue at least through the first couple of days of the new year, but then we start to cool off and see temperatures bounce back to normal as we head towards, say, the 2nd and 3rd of January.
All right, thank you, Rusty, and thank you all for joining us. World News is next, and we'll see you back here at 6 o'clock.
With the Channel 8 News mobile app, you'll be the first to know. Get alerts about breaking news and weather, all in the palm of your hand.
We only do one thing at Comfort Made Mattress Factory, handcraft the highest quality mattress possible. It's backed by a lifetime comfort guarantee. Come see us.
Closed captioning on Channel 8 Eyewitness.